Hello all, welcome. This is Justin Barrett. I'm just going to skip this intro. Um, Pre-apologize for the fact that I have to narrate this one. The audio did not take on it. I had to change microphones. Anyway, I'm just going to move in here and we're going to start. I want to, before I get started on the ear, I actually went in here and did a couple things to the nose, as it's kind of, it looks a little bit off. It's a little bit stubby and maybe even a little bit low, so I'm going to go in here and use my proportional fall off hotkey of O and using the mouse wheel to scale the fall off up and down. It's going to take it out a little bit. And apparently I decided that was good. I grab another piece and I shrink it down. I'm going to pull that out. The nose actually takes up a pretty large portion of the face. A lot of times I make the mistake of making a small nose, and I notice that the loops inside the nose aren't quite right, and they're also a little bit pinched up there, so I think I'm going to shrink these down, and I want to kind of take them in a little bit, get some of that pinching off that outer rim of the nostril. Take those in, and then take these ones on the side. I'll take them in a little bit. About right here. And if I were to add loops here, it would still do that spirally thing. So I had to come up with another method here, and I'm trying to maybe just divide them. Hotkey W, subdivide, and make that into a face. Alt J is our hotkey, and well, we'll go in a little bit too far there. Let's change this light. There we go. And let's also lower this a little bit because it's a little bit bright. There we go. Hopefully that's a little bit easier for people to see. I could just weld that vert that I just had selected. I could have just welded down those edges down there, but that would have got rid of the geometry. I'm going to make that a face there, and we got a couple more quads in here. Or they're triangles, actually, we can turn into faces. But I realize that this is actually the problem right here, is it's not wrapping around under the nose, this loop. So let's undo a whole bunch of that. There we go. Back to square one, and I'm going to subdivide those. Turn that into a face. And then we're going to divide across here. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. could be anything. Anyway, subdivide those. Let's start turning these into quads. And if we go to faces, it's just a little bit faster than grabbing the vertices or the edges. I just held down Shift and clicked on those so that we have a context-sensitive selection, so we can select any kind of element. And excuse me. Just going to tighten this up a little bit. And I think I weld this. Yeah, and that was wrong, so I'm going to undo it. Okay. Just going through, changing some of the geometry here. Let's get this loop wrapped around a little bit better. And I'm talking about adding a division right into the nostril right here. There we go. Now that one with the odd triangle inside of it, well, let me do this first. I'm going to make this a face, or subdivide it. There we go. Now we have two quads right next to each other. They're mostly triangles. We need to weld that down to last. Try it again. There we go. And now you can see we have 4 triangles, which is basically 2 quads if we merge them down or join them. And I should have stayed with vertices and welded this one out right here. But anyway, there we go. Fix up the topology on the nose just a little bit. Now if we add a loop, you can see that it's going to go around to the tip of the nose. But there's enough, there's pretty much enough loops right there right now, so let's just kind of tweak these out a little bit. Let's go to the side. And just going to obviously pull those up and in, maybe really rotate them. Right here is pretty much the bridge of the nose that I'm working on. And part of the nose is a little bit wide down there, so I'm just kind of doing a little bit of tweaking. And now those are a little too far in. You take those out a little bit more. There we go. Adding a little bit more mass to the nostril here. And I could have put a loop in right there as well. I'm discussing how it comes down to the cheek. Could have put another loop there that wraps in around the tip of the nose, and that would have, you know, helped our geometry a little bit more. But now I'm not going to draw it now. But the thing is we don't want to add too much geometry. It's not really necessary. This video isn't. I didn't design it to do really high quality CG model. This is just something to get people going. So I'm gonna try and rotate a couple of these edges, and you don't even have to pay attention to it because I'm gonna undo it because I don't like that geometry where it crosses the bridge of the nose there, or just onto the bridge of the nose. And that looks okay. It flows into the nose a little bit better, but there are other problems with it, so I went ahead and got out of it. Anyway, I'm going to add some geometry back here because we don't have enough to put in our ear. So just looking at a couple places. And one of the places I'm going to take some edges in are actually into the eye right here. There's actually a muscle here, so I'm going to pull those out a little bit. I'm not really going to develop it very much, but just to give the idea that that muscle exists. I rotate it around because it kind of starts under the ear and goes up towards the collarbone, wrapping around the neck a little bit. Just looking at what we might do here. I'm going to divide a couple of these up, maybe even splitting them. As soon as I do it, I'll let you guys know. Yep, I went for a split right there. No problem. And then I'm going to go into the eye. I'm actually going to grab this whole ring, using Control and Alt, and then right-clicking. I will select that whole ring around there, and then deselecting these ones that I don't want to divide, as we don't really need to add much more geometry down there. subdivide those, and you can see it adds quads. Well, it adds triangles that we're going to turn into quads. Alt J. Let's grab this one, and again Alt J. And I'm actually going to divide those two right there also, even though it's going to leave me with a triangle going into the ear, but I'm not too concerned with it. It's a relatively flat area, and I think later on we might even change it. So let's add, I'm going to add another division. Not there, I'm actually going to grab this inside one, there we go, and join those up. It's going to create a face there, and then we'll join this adjacent one up as well, or merge them. There we go. So that's pretty much going to be the foundation of the ear as far as the base. Okay, now there's the triangle that I got rid of. Okay, now I'm going to start grabbing some of these edges around the ear after I look at my model and say, look, that's what the model looks like. Oh yeah, don't forget to save your scene. We're on Bloody Molly number 4. You just hit plus as long as you go up in there and highlight the window. Save over it and tab into edit mode. Now I'm not going to grab this entire loop. I'm going to actually leave a couple of those edges in front as the ear is kind of going to be flat into there. So I'm going to extrude this, pull it out just a little bit. And you can see those places I didn't extrude. I'm going to collapse those edges there, creating triangles. Now if I were to add a loop all along that ring on the back, it would come around and divide those, and I can pretty much make those quads. But we're going to have enough geometry to kind of play with as far as that goes later on, so I pretty much just keep moving on. So I'm going to go to the side view and just kind of grab these edges. Actually, I'm going to grab the whole ring and scale it a little bit and smooth it. And then we're going to start shaping up our outline of our ear, basically. Just grabbing these edges and moving them one at a time. Down here, we'll pull it down a little bit for the earlobe. And tuck this back a little bit. Okay, so let's grab that whole loop, both of them, and we're just going to move it up a little. And that's not quite right. We need to move it back again. And let's tweak these vertexes out. Want to interpolate these as well as possible. Okay. So grab our loop and we're going to extrude it again. Only edges, yep, shrink it down. And probably extrude that one more time. Maybe taking it in a little bit and rotating it a bit. As soon as I stop rotating around, there we go. Let's shrink it. S for scale. G to grab and move. Take it in on X. And let's just move it a little bit more towards the... oh, okay, well, we're going to smooth it, but I'm also going to move it. Okay, I'm going to scale it. There we go. Finally. Pulled it in there. That's the meat of that part. Pulling that part in. Then I rotate it on Z. And rotate it on